Hey everybody, it's your girl Mia and welcome back to my kitchen. I know it's been a long time coming, guys, but I'm finally back in my kitchen giving you guys some new updated cooking videos. And today we're going to start with one of my all-time favorite recipes, Swedish meatballs. Let's go! Alright guys, so to get started, in my lovely bowl here we have a ½ cup of panko breadcrumbs. These are a larger, coarser breadcrumb, not your typical breadcrumbs. These are really popular over in Japan, and typically you would use these as a breading to make things really nice and crunchy. But these are going in our meatballs today. So to this ½ cup of panko breadcrumbs, we're also going to add a ½ cup of milk. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let these breadcrumbs soak up all this milk and get nice and squishy, and those are going to go into our meatball mixture in just a little bit. Alrighty guys, in my pan over medium heat, I've added some butter, and to that butter we're going to add a nice swirl of olive oil. Now what's going to happen is the olive oil is going to raise the smoking temperature of my butter and keep it from burning. Now I know that pan sounds a little angry, but don't worry, it's going to calm down in just a sec. So we're just going to swirl that around. Alright guys, once our butter and olive oil mixture has come together, I am going to add 1 chopped medium yellow onion. And we're going to give that a nice stir. Now if you need to turn your heat down on your stove, that's fine. We do not want to saute this onion. What we want to do is sweat it out. Basically what that means is we want to run this onion over medium heat. We don't want a lot of noise. We don't want a lot of activity in this skillet. We want to soften the onion very gently, okay? We are softening this onion in conjunction with our butter and olive oil. So we're going to let that go over medium heat until the onion is soft and translucent. You do not want your onion to brown. If your onion is browning, you are sauteing, and that means the heat is way too high. I'm going to need you to cut it down a bit. You're going to drop that down to a misdemeanor because you're messing with felonious heat. Alright? Once this onion has sweated out and gotten nice and soft, we'll be adding the next ingredients and moving on to the second step. Alrighty guys, about 15 minutes has gone by in YouTube land, and as you can see our onion is nice, soft, and translucent. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my minced garlic. That's about 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of worcestershire sauce. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And I'm also going to add 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. Now, if you are bougie, like I'm trying to be one day, if you don't want to use 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, you can do 2 tablespoons of fresh chopped oregano. Just to let you know. We're going to give this a stir. Get everything incorporated, let that garlic get all fragrant and get to know that sauteed onion, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Alrighty guys, so now what I've done is I turned off the onion mixture and allowed it to cool down. And what we have in the bowl right now is 2 pounds of ground beef, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, as well as 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper. So what we're going to do now is we're going to incorporate the cooled onion and garlic mixture into our ground beef, because you don't want to be fooling with this while the onion and everything is scorching hot out of the skillet. So definitely let that onion mixture cool down to room temperature. That definitely makes it easier to handle. In addition to our onion mixture that we've added to our ground beef, we're going to now add the panko breadcrumbs that we soaked in milk. Do you remember these? I do. And now, with clean, washed hands, with all jewelry removed, nothing's changed, guys. We're going to get in here and we're going to incorporate this mixture all together so that we can form our meatballs. Do not be afraid of the meat, guys. Get in there, get down and dirty. No shame. This is not a step, personally, that I think that you can do with a spoon. When it comes down to meatloaf and meatballs, etc., you gotta just wash your hands and get in there. Don't be afraid. Some stuff might fly around. It might get in your fingernails. It's okay. That's what soap and water are for. Now definitely make sure that you have washed your hands before you go sticking them in this meat mixture. I don't play around with that. But sometimes you just gotta get in here. I mean, you don't feel all that bad. And once it comes together, it's gonna be worth it. Now, I know this bowl's sliding around all crazy, but that's okay as long as it don't hit the floor, guys. We are good, right? Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish incorporating this. Now, do not over mix this meat. Please don't do that. Let me get that in there and out of the way. You don't want to over mix this. You want to incorporate all the ingredients, but you don't want to beat this to death, because then your meatballs are going to be tough. All right? There's one last step. Once you've gotten this incorporated, we're going to add 2 eggs to the mixture. Now, I know some people really going to have a problem with this here, but you still got to get down in there, y'all. Play with the yolk. I know. It's not the best thing, guys. I know it don't feel all that hot, but you got to do what you got to do. You got to get in here, get your hands grimy, okay? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and incorporate this egg into our meatball mixture, and then we're going to move on to the next step. All right, everybody, now that we've gotten our meatball mixture assembled, it is now time to start making the meatballs. So what you want to do is you want all of your meatballs to be uniform in size so that they all cook evenly and finish at the same time. So what I like to do is I like to take my tablespoon, measuring spoon, and scoop out servings that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our meatball mixture. Again, you want to do this in tablespoons. So a tablespoon of our meatball mixture looks like that. And we're going to get to rolling with clean hands, of course. See? Get a nice little roll on there. We're going to set it on our cookie sheet while we assemble the rest. Okay, so we're back over the stove here. We've got some butter and olive oil going over medium, kind of not medium high, but getting close to there. We'll say medium heat. And we're about to go ahead and start frying up our meatballs. Now, this dish yields a lot of meatballs, so feel free to, cut this recipe in half or even freeze the meatballs to use at a later date. But we're gonna go ahead and fry up all our meatballs today, so we're definitely gonna do it in batches. So what you want to do is, once that skillet's talking to you, we're going to take our rolled meatballs and we're going to get them in the pan. All Alrighty guys, as you can see, they are in the pan, and you want to keep a decent amount of space in between the meatballs because you want them to get brown on all sides. You don't want to overcrowd the pan. Otherwise, you're not frying the meatballs, you are stewing them. That is not what we want. That is not a good look. So we're going to go ahead and cook up our first batch of meatballs. We're going to make sure they're brown on all sides. I'll show you what they look like afterwards. Once you've gotten all of your meatballs fried up and are all looking golden brown and delicious, then we're going to move on to the next part of our recipe, which is our sauce. Alright, now we have finished browning all of our meatballs. We got a lovely sear on each and every one of these beauties. Now don't worry if your meatballs are not cooked all the way through. The point of getting the meatballs over into the skillet was to get a nice sear on all sides, and that's what we got. They're going to cook the rest of the way in the lovely sauce that we're about to assemble right now. In my pan over medium-low heat, I have 6 tablespoons of butter, and to that we're going to add 6 tablespoons of flour. What we're doing, guys, is we are creating a roux. Now, anybody that's familiar with Cajun cooking, Creole cooking, jambalaya, things of that nature, you know what a roux is. A roux is equal parts flour and fat. This is also how you start your gravies. Now, as you can see, guys, I'm slowly sifting the flour into the butter. We want the flour to be evenly distributed. That's how you keep from having a lumpy sauce, okay? Lumpy sauce, lumpy gravy. You want to slowly put that flour in there. You don't want to dump it all in, okay? Because lumpy sauce, lumpy gravies are not the business. But I'm sure you guys know that already. So as you can see, I'm taking my time over this medium-low heat, sifting that flour over our butter, and then you want to lightly whisk it to incorporate it. Now, creating this roux over this medium-low heat, what it's going to do is it's going to slowly cook that flour, so it's going to get that, you know, basically that bland flour taste out of the sauce. It's going to keep the sauce from having that bland flavor. So as you can see there, we've gotten our next batch of flour in, and we're going to whisk that in as well. So it's like the flour's kind of cooking a little, guys. You get what I'm saying. Get that whisk in there. Oh, and guys, I did drain a lot of excess oil out of this pan after we finished with the meatballs. But you don't want to wash the pan out. You want those brown bits from the meatballs. You want those all up and through here. All up and through. So I'm going to finish getting this flour in, and then we're going to incorporate the rest of our ingredients. Alright, gotten all the flour in, guys. We're going to add an entire 32-ounce container of beef broth. And you want to do this slowly as well. You want to add a little and whisk a little. That's also going to keep lumps from forming, okay? You want this sauce to be very smooth, so you're going to add a little and whisk a little. As you can see here, and we're still over medium-low heat, guys. You do not want to add all of your broth at one time. It's going to be very lumpy and very gummy, so please, please don't do that. Just add a little and whisk a little. Alright guys, once you have your beef broth incorporated in with your roux, you're going to want to drop the heat down to low. And now we're going to add 2 cups of heavy cream. Add that in slowly while you're whisking. Like I said, this is definitely not something you guys want to rush, you know, take your time. Slowly incorporate that heavy cream into your broth mixture. Now, before anybody comes for me in the comments down there somewhere, nobody ever said Swedish meatballs were healthy. I'm not saying make a lifestyle of this, but every now and then, you know, treat yourself and your family to something a little indulgent. Okay, once you've got the heavy cream incorporated, you're also going to add a tablespoon of Worcestershire. Hey, I said it right, I think. And you're also going to add 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. Give that a good whisk. Now would be a good time to add salt and or pepper if you'd like. Go ahead and taste the sauce and see where you're at. I like where it is at this point. You're gonna let this come to a low simmer over that low heat. You want it to bubble, and what's gonna happen is it's gonna slowly start to thicken. Once it starts to thicken, we're gonna go ahead and get our meatballs over into this luscious bath. That's why it doesn't matter if the meatballs aren't cooked all the way through, guys, at the time that you're searing them, because they're going to cook slowly in the sauce for a short period of time. So they're definitely gonna finish off in the sauce. No worries there. Alrighty guys, as you can see, our sauce now has a low, gentle bubble going on right now, and the sauce has noticeably started to thicken because of the heavy cream. So now at this time, we're going to go ahead and carefully add in those beautiful meatballs. Careful not to splash yourself here. And all the juices that have accumulated at the bottom of your bowl that's holding your meatballs, get all that in there too. That's all flavor and all goodness, guys. Once you got your meatballs in, go ahead and spread them out evenly in the sauce. Make sure they're coated. And now we're going to let these meatballs go for about 10 minutes in this sauce. They're going to absorb all that goodness. The sauce and the meatballs are going to get to know each other and hook up. And it's also going to cook the meatballs the rest of the way through. And that honestly is the final step, guys. Once you've let about 10 or 15 minutes go by, go ahead and scoop up your delicious meatballs and lay them on top of a bed of nice buttery egg noodles, some mashed potatoes, or shoot, just grab a fork and eat them clean out the skillet. Either way, they're going to be delicious, and I really think your family's going to enjoy them. Alright guys, thank you so much for coming back into my kitchen. I've really missed cooking with you guys. Hope you'll come back for some more cooking videos. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe to your girl. And hit that notification bell thing that I'm hearing so much about now. Y'all know I'm slow to the party. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.